Is this a seismic precedent being set here, Peter?
Well, we have seen governments around the world struggle with this very question. How much access should minors have to social media and to other kinds of technologies? They've struggled with how to implement some of these concerns, how to address some of them. Parents certainly upset. So what we're seeing in Australia is one of the most dramatic moves yet, where they are going to ban social media for under 16s. As you say, this is not something where you can get your parents' permission and then get back on. This is a blanket ban. It is very controversial, as you say. The technology companies are pushing back hard against this. Meta has objected, Facebook, of course. And also Elon Musk has talked about how this is a fascist step by the company. But Prime Minister Albanese has led this personally. He's got a lot of public support.
Yeah.
He also has a lot of support within the government. So he's moved ahead with this, and they're pretty determined to make this stick.
I mean, it's wildly popular. I think it was about 77% of adults support the move, according to a YouGov survey. But
That's
you
right.
might, if you're a cynic out there, be like, of course Meta's going to push back. Of course TikTok's going to push back. But they have grounds to push back, because many feel that actually this is, in many ways, a very blunt instrument being imposed and very hard to navigate.
Yeah, there are difficulties in terms of implementing something like this. The companies have about 12 months before they have to actually implement it. The government is also putting the burden of implementation onto the companies themselves. There's some debate about whether the social media companies should take the lead on this, or whether the app stores overseen by Apple and Google should do this instead. But this is going to be squarely on the companies to actually implement this and to figure out the best way to do this. It is not impossible to do this. Companies love to say, oh, it's rushed. It's a very difficult decision to implement. But governments have been able to do this in the past. The question is exactly how you're going to implement the technology. China's actually been quite successful at implementing these kinds of guardrails around how teenagers use technology. But, of course, that's a country where the concerns about privacy are much less than you may see in Australia or the United States or the UK even. So there will be questions about how they're going to implement this. It would be difficult for them to actually implement this, but the government is determined to move ahead with it.
So, Peter, that's kind of where I'm coming from as a parent. Although my kids are grown and out of the house, they can do what they want as far as I'm concerned. But technologically, how do they actually do it? Is it a piece of software that, I don't know, Facebook would put on its software that figures out what your age is and therefore access?
There are many different choices. I guess I'd begin with one example out of Norway, though. They tried to implement something like this with kids, where they tried to set a limit on how young kids could get on, but more than 70% of them figured out ways to get around it, around their parents and around the technology companies. So kids often are smarter than we are in terms of implementing these sort of things. But when you've seen it done successfully, like in places like China in particular, you have to register. You have to have an account that's identified with a particular individual. They set gating factors. In China, they don't let kids get online after 10 o'clock at night or before 6 a.m. in the morning. So you don't have kids going out and using this kind of technology. It is something from a parent standpoint that you would probably see as quite useful if you're able to implement it. China also, because they have much more centralized control over these things, limited how much time kids could spend on things like games and on social media. You can't really use the same kinds of procedures in a place like Australia or the United States.
Yeah, I mean, so in Australia, I know Caroline was citing those statistics about the support for this, but I can't imagine that working here. It just seems like a lot of folks would say, wait a minute, the government can't tell my kids what to do. It's up to me as a parent to decide, all that type of thing. But I guess Australia's gotten past that.
Question here. Yeah, I think the broader question here is whether this is going to go beyond Australia into places like the United States or into Europe. Certainly in Europe, France has taken the lead on this. They feel like it's very important to have some kind of guardrails around how kids use technology, especially social media. We've seen lots of harm done to children through these things. Also in the States, you have a couple of individual states that are quite determined to do this. Florida probably has been the most aggressive in terms of looking at some parameters around this, but there are other states that are very concerned about how kids are using technology. They see that it is very harmful. I mean, people have talked about this as a psychological experiment being done on our kids without our permission,
right?
And they want some kind of parameters around it.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because sometimes there are kids who feel very alone, unsupported, need access with social media to people that they associate with themselves. And actually, UNICEF, the United Nations Agency for Children, have come out saying, look, Australia's ban would push young people into darker, unregulated places online. They're worried about their rights, severing access to information. And they said instead of banning children. We should hold social media companies accountable for providing age-appropriate, secure and supportive online environments. And to be fair, look, Instagram had just imposed safety for 16-year-olds and younger. Private accounts, messaging restrictions, sleep mode, for example, enabled between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And so is it really with Pandora's box already open, is the onus on the companies to now more seriously give me, the parent, a way of helping my child use it rather than just taking it off the table and lacking access to some kids?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Caroline. Is there a way to improve some of these social media sites and make them valuable instead of just banning them outright? And I think Australia got to the point where they feel like they've waited long enough. You know, if you expect Facebook to do better or X to do better, many of these other platforms, they're just not going to do it. I mean, you just have not seen it over the past few years. There's been many attempts that really haven't made very much progress. And so the question becomes this ultimatum of, do you let kids on in the hope that things are going to improve, or you just cut them off for now and perhaps put additional pressure on companies to do a better job of regulating the content that you're talking about? Really, the algorithms here are part of the problem because they're not leading kids to the kinds of solutions that you're talking about. They're leading them to addictive kinds of content. And we've seen that again and again and again from the technology companies.